Welcome to the Domk Podcast. My name is Lunchbox. I got Promo Brady with me. We have a special guest. It's Andy from Taddy Porter. What's going on, man?
Oh, just glad to be the first.
Well, Andy's up here because Taddy Porter has a new album coming out soon, Tame the Wolf. You guys recorded it in Nashville, which I feel like is, I've never actually been to Nashville, but in terms of a musician, it has to be like Disney World for you guys.
Yeah, it's if you're looking for something and you have the drive to, I guess, depending on what you do, if you want to be a manager, if you want to be a tour manager, something like that, you'll find a way to get a gig. If you're a musician, if you're a writer, you may be the worst singer, but you've got the best lyrics, and then you move there and there's a spot for you. But there's music in every venue every single night, no matter what genre. If you ask around, you'll find that genre. I love it. I've been tempted to move there. It stole 2 of our members already. So I'm being, I don't know if it's like
you're on that fence of whether or not should I go or should I stay? Should I go? Should I stay?
I just see the opportunity as a musician is one thing. The opportunity as a writer is one thing. I feel like once you get a taste of what it's like to immerse yourself in the music business for a while.
Watched Foo Fighters documentary about them making Sonic Highway. And when they're in Nashville, and I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
I didn't know how in depth.
Everybody wants each other to succeed for the most part.
Yeah, because you think like everybody getting each other's way and like, no, that's mine, and I don't want to do that. You can't do that because I'm doing this. But it's like one big gigantic community trying to make sure everybody makes it.
Yeah,
I think that was the coolest part
about
the whole thing.
Really.
And Dave Grohl just walking around the street was very cool.
Well, I see in the just looking around to different websites all the time. You got people like Lizzie Hale and Joe from Hailstorm. Recently, we're just kind of hanging out, I guess, in the downtown district in Nashville, and just decided to do an acoustic set in a local bar there. So you have different things like that happening constantly, it seems like.
You never know who's going to be popping in or just writing a song in Nashville at the time. So, I mean, as a music listener, that's like going to... If you're wanting to find your favorite random guitar player, go to Nashville because he may be playing one of those clubs down there.
Yeah.
It's a gamble. I randomly walked into an Eagles of Death Metal show one time whenever I was there. And I was like, yes, this is good.
See, this guy, Promo Brady, raves about him. He says that they were just awesome live.
One of the best shows I've been to.
Boots Electric, man. He
is something else. Like, I've never really seen him, like, in videos. It's different.
Yeah.
Until you see him, like, on stage, in person, in his element, always combing his hair.
Hell yeah.
Make sure he looks great. Yes. And he's like, he does that little thing he does.
Yes.
And like, ladies.
Yeah.
And girls scream.
Yes. They don't really have a death metal sound, though, right?
I had to explain it to my wife, like, they're the Eagles of death metal.
Yeah. This majestic animal of death metal. So it's
Eagles. She saw the show and she she got it. Yeah. And she was as mesmerized as like every other woman in the place. And of course there's not an ugly woman in the place. They're all gorgeous.
I mean, you have to admit
screaming.
It's a sexy show.
It's a very sexy.
I had not heard of them until they opened up for, I'm trying to think of, who was it? I can't remember. But they came out and I was blown away just by his Boots Electric. That's what I was calling him. What is one of my friends, the Bourgeois here in Tulsa. They opened up for him, and I saw this video of him just skating around all of Cain's, while they're doing sound check, and he was like, "This is badass." Boots is skating outside while we're sound checking.
All right, Andy, you got to help me out because you guys are originally from Stillwater, right?
Yes, Stillwater.
So I'm going to my first Oklahoma State football game this Saturday, and beforehand, I'm going to partake in the festivities.
Yes.
What are some cool places to go?
Well, okay, so there's two ways you can take it. Either you go down and dirty into the tailgating zones.
Yeah, okay.
And that's where everyone's got their own little camp set up, It's like, you have to kind of know one of those people, because if you're just a wanderer and they're theirs, they may not be the type of people just like, yeah, come on, man, let's drink my beer and eat my stuff. That may be the bad thing to do. But I would always go because I was there for a really long time. I went to school there. That's the reason why how we met all the dudes.
Yeah.
So I knew how everyone do it, but after a while, I just wanted to go to a bar of mine, like Stonewall, and just drink and talk to friends that you hadn't seen in a while. That's pretty much what it turned into.
Yeah,
you have to get it for what it is. There with everyone's wearing orange and very, very enthusiastic.
See, I feel like the stereotypical thing to do would be to go to Eskimo Joe's, but I'm like, I don't want to be that.
No.
I want to go to the Diamond in the Rough, somewhere in that town.
I guess the good thing about Joe's is they have food and the beers.
Yeah, there's that.
Yeah, that bacon, man, is like the best.
I heard about the bacon.
Bacon?
It's
Yeah.
different.
Big on bacon.
Okay, so there's 2 different types of bacon. 3. Let's do it. 3 types of bacon. The kind they put on fast food restaurant burgers, the kind that you make at home, and then the big, fat, awesome pieces, and that's what they have.
The big, fat, juicy.
Yes.
See, I like
kind of sweet.
I like the soft bacon. I don't like the crispy bacon.
Crunchy.
Oh, it's soft.
I don't like crispy and crunchy. Crispy and crunchy to me is no. If you're gonna eat bacon, you gotta have the soft, cushy.
I get it.
Type
little
bacon.
Give.
Yeah,
That's how it is.
Okay. All
okay.
right.
That's how it is.
You're making my mouth water right now.
I'm making my mouth water.
Oh, good
And of course, we
Lord.
gotta have some of the locally brewed beers down there. It seems like they have a lot of craft beers. And Stillwater, that was actually how you guys got your name, right?
Yeah, there was. It's funny that's how it comes about.
Yeah.
There was a bar there that is now College Bar, and it was this time where I just turned 21, but Doug, our drummer, was not 21 yet.
Yeah.
So the only bar in Stillwater that ID'd you at the time at the bar, so you could walk in and sit down and like pretend that you'd been there for a while or something like that, because that's what we had to do.
Yeah.
We would get a can out of the trash and just walk up to the bar and be like, "I'll have another one." That's what Doug would say. And
Yeah.
like, yeah, and I got them. I'll pay for these. And then it was just like, okay, we got beers. I don't know. and so, but I remember we were trying to find names and they were horrible, right? So Red Giant was one of them.
Yeah.
Red Giant was a band. I don't know where we were going with that.
No.
Scissortail, because we were trying to play homage to Oklahoma, but that just could be taken
Yeah,
different ways. We just want to go
too many different ways.
Yeah, we didn't even want to tackle that one right there. But and so I had like $3 in my pocket, and I was scrolling the beer list and saw Taddy Porter. I was like, that sounds like someone's name.
Yeah.
Because we were thinking about like Led Zeppelin, Thin Lizzy,
Yeah.
Black Sabbath, all these bands that had this idea or like sounds like a person's name.
Yeah.
And so Taddy Porter was like, it's a dude. And he's like a tall, skinny, like really sophisticated, like functioning alcoholic. He's like, you see him and he's like, how, like just being very polite to ladies.
Yeah.
Never
Yes.
like too, creepy, but but polite, and likes to rock, has long hair, monocle.
That's
Maybe
where the
it's-
design for the first T-shirt
that was
came
weird,
from,
yeah.
which I wish I still had. I love that
It's all
shirt.
coming together
Yes,
now.
I'm like, that looks like Taddy Porter. Yes, I love that shirt.
Taddington is what we called him.
Yes, I remember now. Yeah.
That was what we called him.
I'm always envious of these local brewing companies because I myself am starting out. I'm trying to figure out how to do some home brew. Have you ever
Yes.
experimented with that?
I feel like it's if I don't do it before I die, I feel like it's going to be bad because my last name's Brewer, right?
Yeah.
So, and I'm in a band called Taddy
in
Porter,
your
which
blood.
is a
Gotta do
beer.
it.
Yes.
I like beer.
Right.
So it's, I love one of the things I learned on the road is the best way to like kind of emulsify yourself into a new city or town is to walk up to a place like that and say, what's your local beer? And ask for you to try their local beer. And then you're kind of welcomed in by them, but like, oh, they want to try our stuff. And then
He's
also,
one of us.
I'm curious because I want to know what you're all about because I know that Oklahoma's got some kick-A breweries right now.
They do.
And they open up like all the time.
Yes.
Like, it started off with Coop
Marshalls.
and Marshall. Yeah, then all of a sudden Mustang popped up, and then now Black Mesa, and then Iron Monk out of Stillwater.
Which is good stuff.
Yeah, it's amazing. And I'm like very proud of the brewing
It's
scene.
shocking how much has grown over the last even 2 years.
I love
It's
it.
amazing.
Yeah, it's crazy just going through the whole process. I made my first batch not too long ago, and everything that goes into it, you got to pay attention to detail because I don't know where I went wrong, but based off of my first batch, it tastes something like dirty soap water.
Oh, yes.
I don't know, I was going for American Porter, but it didn't turn out like that, that's for
Porter.
sure.
American Pond
feel like
Water is what it
Porter-
turned down
Yeah,
to.
right.
Goodness.
Porters are tough because, they're thick. They're the heaviest of you try
Yes.
certain types of beers, and I feel like the reason why they're so thick, I may be wrong, unless I've somehow absorbed like osmosis, like brewing skills, is but there's a lot of organic stuff that you have to tend to in those dark, heavy beers, and getting all that stuff. If they ferment inside of that beer, it's going to make it taste like,
Oh,
I don't even really know.
Yeah.
But you would know.
You got to get the extract right. You got to get the hops right, just the right amount of grains. And I went wrong somewhere, yeah, because I remember I opened up my first one. I was so excited too. I got them all bottled and cool off for like about a week or so, and get good and carbonated. And I'm like, all right, gonna open up the first one, and it just overflowed. Like it was too carbonated, so it just
okay.
overflowed like all over my arm. And I'm like, what? precious beer, where are you going? So then I opened up another one. It wasn't as bad. So I'm like, all right, I get a drink out of it. And I'm not sure, okay, normally I could, kick back like a few beers, but two pretty much knocked me on my ass. Gosh.
Yes.
But yes, the flavor, it's got some funky aftertaste, and I got to figure that out. Maybe I could go to like Iron Monk whenever I'm in Stillwater.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Really just take some notes. Like, how do you guys do it? I'll just follow them around and be like, hey.
You're going to mess her on your first try.
Yeah.
That's a given.
Yeah, that's
Right.
true. That's true.
Just don't give up. You keep doing that.
I would have brought him up to the station, but I didn't want to poison you guys. Just what I need.
Thank
I feel
you
like
for considering
Frank
my health.
Costanza from Seinfeld. I sent 13 of my own men to the latrine. So Taddy Porter, you guys got a new album coming out. Tell them, I know they can't download it just yet, but when they can, where can they access your new music?
I know that we're going to be putting it on iTunes. We're going to figure out how to pretty much do that whole shebang. Like if you search it, nowadays, how you go to Google and you search like new something, you're going to find it. It may take a little, kind of like searching a little bit, but we're going to put it out on all of our social media sites. And
awesome.
We've been doing it ourselves as of late, and it's great. It's you don't have to, things don't go through a whole lot of different hands whenever you know that you're the reason.
Yeah. How about that?
And that's that's it's good, because but on date and time, hopefully within this next year is what we're going to try to put it out. We're going to put it out like at the beginning of next year. So
awesome. We'll be on the lookout for new music from Taddy Porter. I know we've played a few of the new tunes on Domk, California Bound, and Mama.
Man, when you told me about Mama, the first, way back in the day, about this concept you had about this song, and then me actually at my desk listening to it, I'm like, holy S.
Yeah,
this is...
You can say it. We're on a podcast.
Awesome. Because it's like, I remember this was like a little twinkle in his eye. Like, it's like, I got this little idea about this little thing. You have to tell a story about how this even came around. But then I was like, bravo. Yeah. Bravo.
That was a good moment whenever that was coming to fruition, I guess. You can't see me doing the quotations things, but it was coming out. And we had an idea. I guess if you ever grew up in a small town type situation and, you go and you are with all these people all through high school, middle school, whatever it is, and you can kind of always pick as you grow older. Maybe some people can, but I could, like the people that were going to get away, the people that just showed this, like, I guess, potential that, maybe was bigger than the town that they lived in.
Yeah.
And so the idea is that, that girl that was that way and she gets out of town and comes back and you see her and you're like, she's pretty much all grown up and, very attractive, right? She's like, hey, let's go to a party. And you're in your eye, I guess, this thing, and you're like going to show her off to all your friends, like, yeah, she's here with me. She's here with me. Yeah, she's here with me. And, but really she ends up going there and just knows how to party. And party's like way harder than all the people at this party.
Yeah.
So, because she's lived this life, outside of the city that those kids have never been out of. And so with trying to make it, I guess, a little bit shorter and more compact, she gets there and has more fun than the guy. So, and the guy gets mad at her for like maybe drinking a little bit too much. And so then the idea was like, don't bring your mama to the party and get mad when she gets down. Yeah. It was like some friends going like, don't bring her to the party and like get mad when she has a good time, man. It was like, that's like, you just, hopefully by the end of the night, she'll remember you and she'll want to like go home with you or something. You brought her here and she has to go home. So just chill. Yeah. Don't get drunk too. Like she can drink way more than you can. That's going to be a mistake if you try to keep up with her.
I just realized that the chick in the video is Steven Tyler's daughter.
Yes, it is.
Yeah,
for as long as I've known you, you've never brought that up.
I could have swore we did.
No.
Dang.
And I was watching it and watching. I've watched it and I've watched it. I'm like, why does she look so familiar? Yeah. So I had to Google like everybody else does. I'm like, well, he didn't tell me that.
Damn, I thought I did.
No. How did that even happen?
So Casey Tebow is the guy that was the videographer and pretty much the director behind the whole thing. And he is great friends with Steven. And she was going to school in Chicago up there when we were doing the video. Uh-huh. Yeah. And just like, we need some girl that is just really, really gorgeous and looks very confident, And so he goes like, I got a girl. I can get her. And I was like, okay, well, whatever. I don't know who it's going to be. And then he told me it's going to be Steven Tyler's daughter. And I was like kind of blown away. And yeah, when you see her, the striking resemblance of the two.
Yes,
it's kind of uncanny whenever you're